Hey, Joe Mangum here with a strategic agent, and one of my favorite parts of my job is I get to interview really cool agents. And today we're going to be talking to Dylan Hale.
Okay. Hey everybody, and it's Joe here, and I'm so excited to be bringing you this interview with one of my favorite people, Dylan Hale. Let me give you just a little bit of background on him before I'm going to start asking him about his superpower, which you are going to want to know about. It's a good superpower. So, Dylan, by the way, how long have you been in the real estate business?
A little over 5 years now.
Okay, but he came from an unusual background, which he's going to tell you about. I'm not going to spoil that, but I do want to tell you what I think are my favorite three things about Dylan. I was thinking about it this morning. Yeah, so here's my first one. You embrace Facebook Live. You love Facebook Live, and what I really love about him loving Facebook Live is he will Facebook Live in a neighborhood or a house with a Led Zeppelin t-shirt on, and I love that. I did a Facebook Live this morning, and I talked about authenticity, and that's the thing that you do is totally authentic to you. The second thing I love about Dylan is that Dylan is an ex-Marine. And first off, we all love our military members, but the other thing I really love about Dylan being an ex-Marine is he looks nothing like an ex-Marine. And it's so counterintuitive to me. When I learned you were an ex-Marine, I was like, whoa, wait a second, Facebook Live, Led Zeppelin t-shirt, this isn't quite working for me. But the third thing, and the thing that we're going to be talking about, is his superpower. He loves door knocking. And I know y'all are probably going, what? Yeah, a person who actually loves door knocking, and you really use it to your advantage in your business.
Sure.
And he is a rock star in the real estate business. He runs a team. He and his wife have a team of agents, and they kill it here in the Triangle. So he uses that as one of your foundational types of prospecting is his door knocking. Despite the fact he has double-digit closings, he has a big presence here in the Triangle, he still door knocks. So, first question.
Fire away.
Okay. I want to go ahead and introduce them to this idea of your background and how you got into door knocking. So give me a little bit of that background.
All right. Well, we haven't discussed this before, but I replied to an ad in the newspaper many years ago. I was out of work as a window washer, and I saw an ad that said rage, and I got in
Rage?
Just said rage was the headline, and it started talking about, come in, check this job out. And I found myself in a recruiting industry, basically recruiting people to go door to door and sell artwork out of our cars. And I went in and did that. And the guy that took me out and showed me how to do it the first day, I thought, well, shit, I can do it better than this guy. He's and I did. Right. Although he was pretty good. But
you got better.
Yeah, I did get better, and I found success in that right away. And
I gotta say something. First off. No, I did not know he was a window washer. And I did not know you replied to an ad that just said rage. I knew that you sold art door to door, so I did know that about you. Yeah. But I just want to say that the thing I love the most about the real estate profession is that you can go from an out-of-work window washer.
True enough, yeah.
To a guy with a team.
That's it.
That's one of the greatest things about real estate. I mean, like, seriously.
Yeah. That's one of the things that I also love about our industry is that you can write your own ticket. If you want to make $60,000 a year in real estate, it's easy to do. If you want to make $600,000 a year in real estate, that's not that hard to do either. And truthfully, it's probably easier than making 60 if you do it right, I think. But
well, you get so much momentum once you learn how to make 60.
And I think people have this misconception that the more business that you do, I think they tell themselves this lie that the more business that I do, the less time I'm going to have for my family. And I don't want to work that hard and things of that nature.
That is a huge lie.
It's a lie. It's a lie, and it's something that I think a lot of people don't know it's a lie. But I think maybe deep down inside that they know that, hey, I'm a little scared of that much success. I've never experienced something like that before. But truthfully, I work really hard going from 60,000 to 120,000 a year. And I'm not trying to brag or anything, just telling it like it is.
Right.
But the last couple of years, I'm coasting. I mean, I'm really not working hard. I'm not flexing. I'm not pushing myself. Things are great.
Because your processes are in place.
Well, yeah, they are to a degree. And I mean, I've got people that do things for me now, so I don't have to do all of the things that I had to do to go from
Right.
60 to 120,000. That was 60, 70-hour weeks, whenever 60 or 70-hour weeks were available. And when they weren't available, then I was logging 40-hour weeks at a minimum, doing door to door, which I can kind of tell you about that too if you like.
Right, and I do want to
Okay,
know that.
sure,
But how
yeah.
did you transition from door to door art sales to real estate?
That company tanked. The company I was working for, and which is not a great endorsement for my skills as their national sales manager, but anyways, they were going downhill. I knew I was going to be selling something. It would only made sense. I'd done that for 18 years and taught people how to go door to door and taught people how to teach people to go door to door so, I mean, I had a very thorough and deep understanding of that process, and I always figured, well, if this goes under, then I could sell cars or I could sell whatever it is, and if I was a car sales guy, I would not be sitting on the sales floor waiting for somebody to come in. I would say, hey, Mr. Manager, can I have the keys to that convertible Mustang? I'm going to go drive it through a neighborhood and go door knock and get somebody to ride in the damn thing, and I'll take it and I'll sell it in no time. And so, but car sales wasn't for me. Real estate was the most money that I could make on one transaction, and that it
But the
seemed like a
point
good fit.
here is, once you learn how to be a salesperson, you
Correct.
can really sell anything.
You can, yeah.
I mean, you get to pick what it is that you want to sell, and it may not feel good for you to go sell X, but you can find something.
Yeah, which is why I'm glad I didn't end up selling cars. That's a tough industry, a lot of hours, and people telling you got to be here. And I love the freedom of real estate. I love the ability to write my own ticket. I like the fact that I can work in my pajamas if I so choose, and wake up in the morning and do a little bit of real estate, do my workout, do some more real estate. It's a great fit for me.
Okay, great. So how did you become an agent? That tanked.
Yep.
Did you just naturally migrate over
I did,
to?
yeah.
Okay.
Well, I looked into pharmaceutical sales. That crossed my mind, and I was trying to get an interview, and I couldn't get an interview for it, and which was surprising to me. But and I said, okay, I'll check into real estate. And I went to school, and I knew it was a good fit right away.
Okay.
So I jumped right into it and started selling houses. And I didn't really start selling houses. I started going
door knocking.
Yeah. I was going to door to door, and really my focus was businesses at that time.
Right.
That's what I'd done with the art sales. We were a business to business company more so than we were a door to door company. Most of what we did was corporate sales. And so I was familiar with that. I liked the ability to walk right in the door and start talking to someone. And it took me a while before this aha moment of, oh shit, I'm selling homes. Maybe I should go where there's homes. So that probably should have been right away, but
That's all right. You caught on.
I did. I figured it out.
You
eventually.
caught on.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about door knocking.
Sure.
All right, because a lot of people, because I talk about it all the time, I liked door knocking. When I was selling full time, I liked door knocking on expired doors.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
I didn't just go in and start door knocking, but I would do till 20s working around this listing. Or I would do expired doors. I didn't particularly like for sale by owner doors, but that was just me. And I find that when I say it to people, they kind of go, no.
Right.
No. All right. So let's talk with why they would want to go door knocking.
Honestly, the reason why you would want to is because the numbers are in your favor. If you go out and talk to, I'll put it to you this way. The average homeowner stays in their home for how long?
About 8 years right now.
Right, 8 years. Something like that. I've heard 5 to 8, whatever.
Depends on how old they are.
Sure.
Honestly, that's the national average.
Yep.
The older they are, the longer they stay. The younger they are, the quicker they move.
So let's go with 8. If 8 years, 8 doors that I knock. And sometimes they come to the door and sometimes they don't, but I'm leaving a flyer either way. And if I have an opportunity to talk to that person, let's say it takes me, I reach 8 doors. one of those people is selling their house this year, and I'm in front of them right then, and so I'm going to work 16 doors. That means one of those people I talk to is selling their house within the next 6 months. And if I work 24, all I got to do is knock on 24 doors. Joe, it takes me 1 hour to go through a neighborhood and pass out 20 flyers is typically what I do. I do something similar to your Tell 20 with open houses and things of that nature. And if there's a neighborhood that I really want to establish a presence in, I'll do more than that. But it's part of my value add for my seller clients as well, that I'm going to go door to door to sell your house.
Right.
So
because nobody else is going to do that.
That's right. Yeah, and all I got to do is take 1 hour and put into it. This person's paying me probably $10,000 to sell their house.
Yeah.
That's probably worth an hour of my time to differentiate myself.
Yeah, it is.
You know, one of the big benefits to it, one of the reasons why you may want to go door to door is when your client says, "What are you going to do for me? How are you going to sell my house?" This is something you can hang your hat on. And when they come home, they're gonna have their neighbors calling and saying, "Hey, yeah, some guy came by and was talking about," and literally 1 hour will have that client, instead of going, "Well, I don't really know what they're doing," going, "This is the hardest working son of a bitch I've ever seen in my life."
There you go.
And I'm like, I put an hour into it. It's not
And what's
a lot.
really interesting is, because one of the biggest complaints sellers have about real estate agents is, what are they doing?
Right.
Well, guess what? You just demonstrated what you're doing,
Yeah.
and they think it's huge, and you
Right.
found it an hour. I can knock it out.
Yeah, and it's something that everyone is so terrified of as well.
So
Yeah.
how do you get over that?
Every time I go out to do it, I'm terrified of it, and you know, to a lesser degree than I was initially.
Right.
And what anyone who chooses to do this will find is they'll go, "Oh crap, this is so scary. Is my flyer right? Am I wearing the right things?" And then you have all these voices and excuses coming up in your head that, as soon as you get out and start doing it, as soon as you go talk to somebody and they don't come at you like Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon or something.
Which is your imagination,
right,
by the
exactly.
way.
You're thinking, gosh,
Right.
I'm going to open the door and this person's going to yell at me. They're going to scream at me. It's going to be the Matrix. I'm going to dodge, do a backflip off the porch or something crazy.
You're a movie buff, right?
Yeah, well, maybe not. I don't see too many anymore. I got 2 kids. Now it's more like Kung Fu Panda instead of Matrix. But anyway, you go there and the first person that you talk to is generally pretty nice.
Right.
And then the next person you talk to is nice. And then somebody says, "Yeah, actually, we were thinking about selling our house too." And you go, "Holy shit. Wow, I've been doing this for 10 minutes and I've got a potential lead." And it's very easy to start feeling good about it. But when the less experience you have with it, the longer it's going to take. It might take you a half an hour before you go, "Oh, wow, okay, yeah, nobody tried to kill me. Everything's good. Nobody yelled at me. I'm okay." And then the next half hour, you're going to be going, "Wow, this is pretty cool." And for me, who's been doing it for a long time, I go, "Okay, 1 door, 2 doors, I'm good." But the first couple of ones, I'm kind of going, "All right, here we go, chugga chugga. Got to get the work done." When you say I love hitting doors, once I start doing it, I like it. But I face the same challenges that any of your viewers do with this or making phone calls or whatever else it is. It's that initial get started, and then once you're in the process, you feel good, and then once you're done, you feel really great.
Okay. So what motivates you to get past that, "I don't want to do this," is just knowing the result?
Fear of failure, I think, is something that motivates me, and it was a very real and rational fear when I started in real estate.
Me too.
I told you I'd come from a company that was going downhill. I had stopped making as much money as I had gotten used to making for a couple of years, and so I was spending more than I had coming in.
Many
dug
people
myself
talk about
into
that.
a hole, and then I said, "Okay, this company's not paying me enough. They're on the way out. I got to go somewhere where I get paid nothing at all. Real estate sounds like a great idea." And so, I had to succeed. It was either succeed or sell a house. And truthfully, selling the house was never really on the radar, but I almost sold my car. I got to a point where in real estate, it took me longer to be successful than I really thought that it would. I kind of thought, because of my ability to go door to door, that I was going to set the world on fire, and things were going to go just amazing for me right away, and I was going to immediately start dominating. And truthfully, I would have, I think, looking back, if I had more follow-up. But my strategy was more, wow, I talked to 100 people, 100 strangers in the last 3 days, and none of them have said they want to sell their house. And I've collected 25, 30 emails out of that group, and I've sent them all their follow-up, and I haven't heard back from any of them saying, yeah, come stick a sign in the yard. So what do I need to do? I need to go meet 100 new people. And I established a database of about 2,500 people doing that. But would have been a lot smarter for me to do is say, okay, 500, and then back to number one, and go through those 500 again, and go stop in on them again, and just make sure that I had the follow-up content that really I was kind of lacking when I started out.
All right, so really good point.
Yep.
If you choose to go door to door and you
Right.
start collecting this information, you need a follow-up system.
Correct.
And I mean, not a one follow-up
Right.
system, a multiple follow-up system. And because they're going to sell at some point, and so be there. Be there.
Yeah, that's the easy part, really. If you, the door-to-door thing is scary as shit for most everybody. And I'm sorry for my language. If I don't know. If
That's just who he is.
we didn't discuss if I was allowed to say.
I'll put a PG-13 on the title before I
Thank you.
post it.
Thank you. All right.
Okay,
And
we'll
just
do that.
maybe pixelate my face or something. So anyway, but
That's just who you are.
Well, if you're going to do the hard part, that everybody is terrified of. If you're going to do that part, then you might as well do the tedium part, which is sitting down afterwards, and I have to do it right away.
That is your tedium part. I know you. Yeah.
That's it. I don't like to, I'm not as fond of that part of the process, but I've got to sit down and write my personal notes the same day. If not, the next day, it's got to get, it's got to be first on my list for the next morning if it's not done that same day. And just write those notes out. And I keep a notebook of all the people that I meet. And, I met Jo, she had on a red jacket, whatever, and had a cute little puppy dog with her or something. And that includes, hey, Jo, thanks for taking the time to talk to me about your community. Hope to see you at the open house coming up, or thanks for coming to the open house, or whatever it might be. And I put something personal in there, oh, your dog was really sweet, or whatever it might be.
Okay, great point. So something personal in the
something of that nature. And I put a couple cards in there and say, hey, if you ever need somebody that's willing to work hard enough to sell your house that they'll go door to door, then call me. And hopefully they hang on to that. And then generally I'm going to start a postcard campaign to whatever area that I'm targeting as well.
Okay.
So they're seeing me there once, meeting them face to face. I'm giving them a personal note. And if I collect their email as well, which is really important to do.
It's really important to do.
And I don't get all the emails, but I get a pretty fair amount.
So let's kind of get down to some real basics here.
Sure.
Okay, so you go into a neighborhood where you have a listing or you're having an open house and you work that neighborhood.
Correct.
Do you go in X amount of days before an open house, or you're just going to work the neighborhood at some point?
I like to go in before the open house, and before it's even active on the market. One of our marketing strategies, with the way things have been moving in southwestern Wake so fast, has been listed on Thursday. Open house is advertised immediately for Saturday, and hopefully, we're going to have such a fervor in there going into the weekend that we'll have multiple offers. And we've been able to create that scenario a lot.
Okay.
So, really once you sign the listing agreement with me, and then we've got the coming soon sign up, I need to be out doing it right then.
Okay.
And my approach is very non-realtor-ish, I guess.
And you are very non-traditional realtor-ish.
Yeah. I started out doing, wearing the realtor uniform because I kind of, and I think that maybe some of you, maybe you should too, until you can really speak real estate. And
that's a great point.
Yeah, I can get away with certain things now because obviously there's some acumen there. When people start talking to me about real estate, I can speak intelligently about it. And I can say, gosh, I've sold 20 houses in this neighborhood in the last 2 years.
Right.
And so that gives me some credibility.
Right.
Sometimes when you're starting out, maybe you need to, you can't get away with everything.
I totally understand.
Yeah.
So I had a guy that came to me, this was several years ago, and he came to me and he was young.
Sure.
And he even looked younger, right? I mean, he just had a baby face.
Yeah.
And he asked me to take him on as a coaching client.
Right.
And he had no money.
Yep.
But he said, I'll give you X% of my first X amount of deals. That was the deal that we struck.
Right.
And I was very intrigued with him,
Sure.
right? He always wore a suit and a tie, and it was very conservative.
Right.
And people would would kid him about it, but he had something to overcome.
Right.
Baby face,
Yep.
brand new, young. He had that to overcome.
Sure.
And he has killed it.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and now he doesn't do that anymore.
That's right.
So,
At 48 with the receding hairline, and then I can get away with polo shirt and shorts.
Led Zeppelin t-shirts.
And occasionally.
And two
I mean,
earrings.
truthfully, well, if I go on a listing presentation, it's a little bit calmer than this. I don't generally wear earrings for a listing presentation,
Okay.
but I know that I can get away with more now. And it's really showing more of my own authenticity.
Right.
And I know that people like to see that, but I think initially, like I said, when I started, I was wearing that realtor uniform. And those are some long-ass days. I tell you what, going around door knocking for 4, 5, 6 hours because I had no clients.
So you might as well.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's the biggest thing I think that causes people to fail in real estate is they don't understand that basic concept. If you want to have 40 hours of work to do in real estate per week. If you're working 40 hours a week for clients in real estate, you're making a lot of money. Like that's a lot of money.
If you're working for
Yeah,
clients
correct.
for 40 hours.
If you're being, but to do that, then you've got to work 40 hours finding clients before you have
Right.
40 hours worth of details to handle for clients and things of that nature.
And see, here's the deal, and this is why a lot of agents don't get the concept of.
Right.
And that is that there's a difference between marketing and prospecting.
Sure.
Marketing is sending things out,
Right.
writing emails, right? That's
Yep.
marketing. Prospecting is a conversation.
Correct.
And prospecting is so much more profitable
Yep.
than marketing. And that's the thing about door knocking. That is a conversation.
That's right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I mean, really, to me, you've got to be in front of somebody.
Yeah.
And there's I was at Inman, I guess, last year.
Yeah.
And I was on a panel there, and one of the things that I pointed out to everybody.
Really?
Yeah, it was pretty
That's
cool.
totally cool.
Yeah, it was.
That was great.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
Fun time. I was like, wow. This is.
Felt big league.
I did. Yeah, I was like, wow, I'm a big shot. I'm up here at Inman. So, but.
That is big shot stuff.
I guess,
Just saying.
I don't know.
Just saying, it's big shot stuff.
Yeah, I guess. So anyway, one of my points was that everybody in the room has a Facebook page, and they all use their Facebook page for marketing their real estate business
Right.
in some way, shape, or form.
Right.
It's a tough field. Like to
a tough
stand
field.
out. Yeah, I mean, if you're going to stand out with online marketing, or if your postcard is going to stand out, I mean,
It's hard.
You got a lot of competition. I mean, there's postcards in my mailbox all the time for grass cutting, for seeding, for roofs, for other realtors, whatever. And same with Facebook, obviously.
Yeah.
And so you really have to distinguish yourself. You have to be really, really great at Facebook marketing to stand out on Facebook. If you go door to door, you don't have to be worth a crap. I mean, like, you can go to the door and go, I'm the realtor guy. Here's my flyer. And you're the best guy.
Because you're doing it.
Right. Yes. They've never seen somebody come to their door doing that before. So
Okay.
by default, you're number one. Sure.
So you just saying that, it
Yep.
reminded me of something. If you're on my Facebook group, which you probably are if you're looking at this, if you're on my Facebook group, I did a Facebook Live this morning at 3:11 a.m.
Wow. At live?
I did a Facebook Live at
Yeah.
3:11 a.m. if you happen to see it.
I missed it, I can tell you.
Yeah. You would be amazed at how many people showed up.
I'm sure.
I was like, what?
Right.
What?
Yeah.
My point is, because we were just talking about
Yep.
standing out.
Sure.
Right?
Yep.
And I went live because I'm just in this weird little period of insomnia. And I thought, you know what? I want to talk about something. So I got on and I thought, well, it will be there when people wake up.
Sure. Yeah.
But then people started popping up. And lights started popping up. And I
Wow.
was like, okay. And I was in my pajamas with no makeup, right?
Yeah.
The authenticity thing.
Uh-huh.
And so what was really interesting, though, is it set apart,
Yep.
right? Because there I was at 3 a.m.
Yeah. Oh,
Right?
yeah, definitely.
And so that's one of the key things, and that's one of the things at door knocking. You can be bad at door knocking,
Correct.
but you were there.
That's right.
But we don't want them to be bad at door
No,
knocking.
it's-
So talk to me. You go into a neighborhood. You're going in while we're in the coming soon phase.
Yep.
You go. You knock on the door. I open the door. Hey, hello. What are you going to say to me?
I say, hey, my name's Dylan Hale, and I just wanted to check in with you real quick. I'm selling a house around the corner, and I'm just going out and talking to some of the neighbors, trying to get to know the community a little bit better. is there something that you could tell me about what it's like to live in Haddon Hall that maybe someone thinking of buying a house here would like to know? And then I get my notebook ready.
Oh, how interesting.
And, yes, and they go, and it's a great way to break the ice. Just asking them, because they think I'm going to try to sell them something.
Right.
And I say no, and I don't say I'm Dylan Hale with Better Homes and Gardens Go Realty.
Right.
I say, hey, my name's Dylan. I'm selling a house around the corner, or whatever it is. I pointed the sign.
Right.
And so most of the time they don't even think I'm a realtor right away. And
Do you wear your badge?
No, hell no. I don't ever wear that thing. No, it's
Everything that every teacher has told you he doesn't do. Okay, go ahead.
It's funny. I've heard people sometimes, they come into the office and they say, hey, I got a lady that talked to me in the grocery store line, asked me something because of my realtor badge, and I'm like, yeah, that's just not me. It just takes me out
I've
of
sold
what
lots
I do.
of houses for my realtor badge.
So anyway, like I said, I ask them about that, and then they tell me things, and I say, oh wow, gosh, community pool, huh? I haven't known that from the last 14 people I talked to already. I'm taking good
and
notes.
the fact that I live here, but that's beside the point.
What's really cool, I hear a lot of the same things, right? And I, of course, listen and take notes on what they say.
Because that's active listening.
Yeah, exactly. And I really find some awesome information from some of the people, though. They'll tell me things like, well, the HOA has just gotten new leadership, and they're actually going to be redoing all the roofs on the townhomes. Or, I've heard some crazy things that I literally sold a house in the neighborhood that this woman told me. She said, there's a barred owl. I've heard of a barn owl, never heard of a...
Barred?
Barred, yeah.
I don't know what a barred owl is.
I don't know what the hell a barred owl is either. And it might not even exist.
We're going to have to Google
I
this.
didn't Google it, but she told me about it. And she said, flies around here and everything. And so, she tells me about this information about the barred owl in the neighborhood. So I'm showing this house the next day to a sign call after walking this neighborhood. And I'm in the house, and I hear this owl outside, and I'm like, that's the barred owl. And so, it was really amazing, some of the things that you find out about the community, and
right.
Anyway, it really is valuable to me being able to sell the house, and like I said, it's a great point of contact. But
how do you transition that into hey?
Well, basically the way I do it is, like I said, once I get their information down and everything, and I've got flyers, and the easiest way to get them to say, okay, thanks, bye, before you really can talk to them or gain any information, is to say, hey, here's the flyer. Because as soon as you do that,
that's
then
your
they go,
close.
Thank you, see you later, and they shut the door, right? So that's kind of the last thing. I ask them about the community first, and then I take notes, and I say, well, what about you, Joe? How long have you lived here? And they tell me stuff about it, and I say, are you in the market at all? Are you thinking to buy or sell in the next year or two? And if you want $1 million question from me, it's that right there. What about you? Are you in the real estate market at all? Are you thinking to buy or sell in the next year or two?
That's a really good sequence right there.
Thank you. Yeah,
that is fantastic.
Yeah, I studied Buffini a little bit, and he says, hey, if you knew somebody who was looking to buy or sell, do you have an agent that you would recommend them to? Right?
Yeah.
And and for me, I'm going, okay, your recommendation to your friend of me is not going to carry a whole lot of weight. Well, you're getting ready to sell your house. I met this random stranger. I don't know anything about the guy other than he knocked on my door. You should use him. It's just not that strong of a referral.
No.
So I don't really look for a referral from you. I just want to know, are you thinking about buying or selling in the next year or two? And a lot of times people say, nah, we just moved in or something like that, or no, we're going to be here till we're dead, or whatever it might be. But very frequently I get, well, I don't know, we're kind of thinking about it. And I've had people say, if you sell that house for that much, I'm in the market, and based on the price that I'm showing them on the flyer or whatever it might be. But if it's again very open-ended. Are you thinking of buying or selling?
Are you thinking about it? It's not committal.
Yep.
It's
in the next year or two. And as soon as they say, oh well, yeah, we're thinking about it, I say, oh yeah, where would you go? Are you going to stay local? Are you moving somewhere out of town, something like that? And I say, well, yeah, we probably would stay local. We're just going to be downsizing. And then we're having a good dialogue, right?
Right.
And then I say, let me write some stuff down for you. And I'm not really writing anything down for them, but that's
for you.
How I phrase it. I said, let me write some stuff down for you. What's your name, by the way? Joe Mangum. I write it down. And how about an email for you, Joe? And they give it to me every time. and a phone number in case I need to get a hold of you. And again, almost every single time I get the phone number too. So, and this is a good refresher for me, because
Wow.
if I'm not active on it, it's very easy for me to, and it will be for anybody that wants to try this, to go
Yeah.
to the door and say, hey, thanks for that information. Here's a flyer. Please come by the open house, and not ask the
Those
question.
really good questions.
That's right. Yeah, and if you don't say, are you in the market? Are you thinking to buy or sell in the next year or two? And then if you don't say, well, what's your name? What's your email? What's your phone number? Then, I mean, you
Really, you just wasted your time.
yeah, I mean, you're
Is the
still
truth be
doing a lot
known.
better, because what I do for everybody that I don't get, because I don't get deep with somebody, I don't collect their email, or I don't attempt to, unless there's some interest there.
And there's a conversation
Yeah,
going
exactly.
on, a good conversation.
Sometimes, occasionally, people don't have much time to talk to
Sure.
me, and that's fine. And those people that I don't get a lot of information from, what I do is I write down their address in my notebook. I write, okay, lady in red jacket, that I didn't,
Right.
maybe I didn't even get your name. You were
right.
too busy. And address on the front door, 135 Old Grove. And when I go home, I got a list of people that I then sit down and pull up on WakeGov and look at the tax records
Right.
and look at, it's just, okay, click that house, 135. Oh, her name is Joe Mangum. Okay. Dear Joe, thanks for taking a moment to talk to me. I know you're busy today. Hope you're having a great day. If you ever need somebody that's, willing to work hard enough to go door to door to sell your house, or anybody you know, here's my contact stuff. And I put cards in there.
So you kind of use this as a brand.
Yeah, to a degree.
That you're
I
kind
guess
of the
so.
door-to-door guy.
That's it.
That's
Yeah.
amazing. Because nobody else does it.
Right. Yeah, and I've had
Interesting.
hundreds of people in real estate ask me, how do you do it? What's your dialogue? Things like that. And
But nobody still does it.
nobody's going to do it. They say, what does your flyer look like?
There's a challenge for you
Well,
right there.
yeah, it really is.
It really is.
I've heard, I don't know where I got this quote, but successful people are willing to do the things that unsuccessful people are not. And that's really what it comes down to. If you want to be really great at basketball, then you're probably going to have to spend more hours in the gym taking jump shots than
Hello, Michael
most
Jordan.
people. Correct. Yeah.
I mean, he was the classic, wasn't all that good.
Right.
But he outworked everybody.
That's it. Yeah. If you work harder, if you're willing to do something that most people won't do, then it's very easy to be successful. If your strategy is to say, well, everybody says get on Facebook, well, I mean, does everybody sell 4 houses a year? And is that what you want? Because, if that's what you want, then that's...
Hello.
Yeah, follow that example. But yeah,
That was a really good example.
Go outside the box.
That's right.
Push harder. Do
Okay.
something they're not willing to do, whether it's phone calls, pop buys, whatever it is. You can use
Right.
the same concepts of, okay, I'm going to be a phone call guy. I'm going to be a for sale by owner
Right.
guy. I'm going to be a pop buy guy. I got to do pop buys all the time. I've got to, it can't be something I do 5 pop buys and then expect.
Occasionally, and then expect result from it.
Correct. Yeah, and that's the reason why I do well at door to door, and is because I get a large volume of contacts by real estate standards in a very short amount of time. Like I tried to do I've obviously heard about expired listings and for sale by owners.
Sure.
And that's something that's pretty well taught in real estate. And you can mail them or you can stop by or whatever. And so I said, man,
You have to knock.
yeah, so I went and I tried to do some expired listings, and
Right.
for me, I said, man, gosh, I've driven around. It took me 3 hours to drive to these expired listings that are
Right.
all over town that just came up today, and I only got to a couple of them. And the ones that I did get to, when they were coming to the door, I could see they were going, oh, geez. It seemed like that I was not the first guy at their door. And so I didn't get a great reaction, which I don't care about. I don't care if I don't get a good reaction. It doesn't matter. Not everybody's going to like me. But what I do care about is the fact that I spent 3 hours and I talked to 2 people. And I left flyers.
That's a problem.
Yeah, I left flyers
Right.
for another 5 or 6. When I know that 3 hours yields me 60 contacts. And of those 60 contacts, right, 1 in 8 is selling this
Right.
year.
Okay.
Right? So,
Right.
yeah.
Right. So
Yeah,
you're
it's-
working the numbers.
Correct. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And the numbers are in my favor. 60 people. What is that divided by 8?
I'm not the
yeah.
math girl.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We got somebody in there out of 60 people that is getting ready to list their house in the next 2 months.
And that's
basically.
some good time spent.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah,
for
that's
3
good time
hours.
spent.
So.
And you focus on listings. And
Correct.
so
Yep.
putting your time and
Yep.
energy toward that kind of activity
Yep.
is really good.
It is.
Because you are creating a raving
Right.
fan from your seller. This
Right.
dude's outdoor knocking. And then
Right.
you also get to talk to people about
Right.
listings.
That's right.
And so all of that leverages a piece of business to get more business.
Correct.
And you're building a brand with it.
That's right.
That's very cool.
Thank you.
So, is there any like words of wisdom you would like to give someone who's sitting there going, "Ooh, I might be able to do this. I think I might try this."
Sure. Just do it. It's going to
Yeah.
be easier than you think. It's the concepts that we have in our head about how people are going to react and things of that nature. They're always nicer than what you imagine in your head. I mean,
They are.
I've literally probably run into 3 people that I thought, okay, that was genuinely a rude person.
Yeah.
And the thing to know, and I mean, gosh, that's thousands of doors that I've knocked on doing real estate. And, you know, in the event that you run into that person, they're not just rude to you.
They're rude to everybody.
Yeah, I mean,
It's not just you.
If I show up and I'm smiling and friendly and invite you to the open house and you're like mean, then, you know,
Yeah, that's not.
that ain't me. You know, that's, you know, go be mean to somebody else or
You know,
whatever. So,
I think that one of the best books out there ever is a book, and it's a small book. It's an easy read. Is a book called The 4 Agreements, and the 4 agreements are these 4 agreements you need to make with yourself.
Sure.
And one of those, and it's probably the one that rocked my world, was when somebody is rude to you. That is their problem.
Right.
It's not a reflection of you. They don't know you.
Right.
It's a reflection of them. They've got something going on, and that freed me.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that
well, maybe I should
freed
read that because that would be good for me to know too.
It's an easy
Yeah.
read, and you're about to get to the beach, so you don't pick it up.
Well, I got a good easy read for you
Okay,
too.
good.
Rhinoceros Success. I read it years ago.
Rhinoceros Success, and
Yes.
I pride myself on
Yeah.
knowing all these books, and I don't
Yeah.
know that one.
It's it'll take you a day to read it. It's
Okay.
nothing to it, and it's just the whole mentality of the rhino, which
Yeah.
is the universal symbol for success. And the
Yeah.
rhino is always charging forward. He's got thick skin. Nothing
does.
stops him. So the rhino symbolism is common in door to door. You know, in those companies, people think about the rhino because I'm charging. It doesn't matter what people are saying or what they're doing. I'm charging towards my success. And it's a good read. I think you'll enjoy it.
You know, I'm on planes a lot, so
Yeah.
I will.
Yeah,
that will be a
you
good
can
one.
fly from here to Orlando.
I'm going to
and
Seattle
probably-
next week, and
Oh,
probably
you got
I
plenty
can take
time.
care of.
Bring a second book.
Is that easy?
Yeah, it's easy.
All right, I
Yeah,
will
you'll
try
be
that.
done within a few hours.
All right, cool. All right, so another thing I want to make sure to talk about is that Dylan is led to educate other real estate agents.
Sure.
He is. He is led to do that. He likes talking to other agents. That's one of the beauties of you having a team is
It's
that
nice.
you, right?
Yep.
Because you get to educate people on your team.
Right.
And you are doing a seminar,
We are.
right?
Yes.
Called Win the Winner. Winter,
That's
not
correct.
win the winner, win the winter. And it's about making sure that you are setting yourself up during the winter for greatness in the spring.
That's correct.
Is that a good way of defining it?
That's perfect. Yeah, it's. I'm doing it with Chris Barnett. He's the professor of the Go School.
Who
here.
I love. I love
Me
myself
too.
some Chris.
Me too. Chris is he's certainly one of the people that I go to for whenever I need an answer about something.
Yeah.
He's always got it.
Yeah.
So he's a great guy and been a mentor to me in real estate. So I'm excited to have the opportunity to pair with him and do this seminar.
So how do they get information on it?
They can go to dcseminarsandcoaching.com.
I will put it
We'll take you
down
there.
when I edit this. I'll put it
Yeah,
down. on the
yeah. We'll
bottom.
maybe put a link or something in
Yeah,
there.
I'll put a link
They
in.
can go in there and register if you want. And we're going to be talking about activities to take this winter to set yourself up for a great 2018. And I'm cooking. Most people cater their events. I'm cooking.
He's cooking.
Yes, I'm
What's cooking?
Pulled pork barbecue. And I'm doing vegetarian fare as well. You just,
Thank you. I was about
Yes.
to say vegetarian.
Well, you just don't put the barbecue on the bun. There's, you can put the
Then
corn-
what goes on the bun?
Well, that's not my problem, Joe. Man, I mean, I can't save the world here. I'm just trying to feed some people. Now they can have coleslaw, and potato salad, and things like that.
That's
when
funny.
you go to the church homecoming, and
Yeah.
there'll be that type of fare there. But I'm in fact doing the barbecue, and Chris's wife is doing some pies. Apparently, we don't want Chris doing any of the cooking.
I know about that.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know firsthand. But
I've worked with Chris for
he's told me.
years.
Oh, really?
I've worked with Chris for
I got
years.
you.
All right, I'll put the information down here, so if you have any interest, and I think we're going to be publishing this like just the week before, just right there at
Fabulous.
that time.
Perfect.
So you'll be able to get in if you would like to. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. I appreciate it.
appreciate it.
enjoyed
That was
chatting with you.
fun.
Yeah, no doubt.